I want to read to you one of the craziest things Machiavelli ever said. He writes this in the Discourses on Livy, and it's about Numa. Numa was like Rome's second king after Romulus, and he introduced religion into the Roman state. And Machiavelli thinks this is terrific. He loves Numa. And here's why he says the introduction of religion was so good, so important. For a prudent individual knows many goods that do not have in themselves evident reasons with which one can persuade others. Thus, wise men who wish to take away this difficulty have recourse to God. So the prudent individual knows that some things are good, but you can't explain why they're good. Like, you can't win an argument explaining why they are good. Machiavelli says this. So he says, yeah, it's really hard to convince people to do the right thing. like it's really hard to convince people to be good. And here's what's wild about this. This is what's crazy. Think about Socrates. Think about Socrates when he meets his greatest challenges, right? When he's on trial, he can't persuade the court. When he's teaching Alcibiades, he can't persuade Alcibiades to be good. Think about dialogue like the Gorgias. At the end of the Gorgias, he meets a guy like Callicles, who's just totally shamelessly self-interested. And in a sense, he can't persuade Callicles. He can't defeat him. So there's this deep problem that it's actually hard to persuade people that goodness exists and you ought to be good. It's really hard to do, in fact. And note that someone like Machiavelli does not delight in this fact. He's not saying, haha, I told you there's no such thing as right and wrong. That's not what he says. Machiavelli says some things are good even though you can't provide rational reasons why they're good. And for that reason, you actually need religion. Wise people know you can use religion to persuade people to do the right thing, even if there's no like rational basis for why they should do the right thing. Because you need some way to persuade people that things are good, even though you can't demonstrate rationally that they're good. Because, and this is the thing, because they are good. In some way, it's like we know things are good, even though we can't explain why they're good. And then think about Socrates trying to explain why things are good and trying to convince people to be good. And then what happens to him?